Good morning. I'm Kirk Stoss with Stoss Realty, and today I am with Angie Peterson at Northwest Bank, and we would like to talk about closing costs. Now, in the real estate business, I kind of divide that into two arenas. One is mostly from the seller's standpoint, and that is the closing costs for the actual transaction of the real estate. The other half, if you want to call it, is if you're going to get a bank loan or a mortgage, the closing costs that a bank will talk to you about. And Angie, would you tell us about that half,
You
please?
bet. So if you're getting financing, there are some costs in doing the loan. One of and each bank kind of charges something different as far as what we charge. So I can kind of give you an idea of what Northwest Bank charges. An appraisal is typically required on a property, and that usually is around $500. And so we want to make sure that the home is worth what you are paying for it. So that is our guide. That is our guide to what the market value is we order an appraisal. So that's the first cost. The second cost would be our title work. Working with Kirk and your realtor, we will work to get the title work prepared. We want to make sure that you have clear title when you own the property, when you buy the property. We want to make sure that if there are any liens on the property or if there are any mortgages that are outstanding, that it is paid off. So our process, usually as a listing agent, they will continue the abstract for the seller, and we will have a title opinion done by an attorney. The title opinion will show us if there's any mortgages outstanding, and there's a cost to that. So that would be the second set of part of the closing costs is the title opinion. Then after closing, we will do a search through your local abstract company to make sure that the deed is recorded, the new mortgage is recorded, and if there's any other mortgages that were outstanding from the seller, we will need to make sure that those are paid off. And so that search is done and a final title opinion is done. Along with those closing costs would be, we have to do a flood determination on a property. We have to pull your credit to make sure you have good credit history. We also have recording fees. We have to record the deed and the mortgage. So in addition to some of those hard costs, some banks charge a processing fee or a closing fee. If your bank doesn't close their loans themselves, they might have an attorney or a title company or an escrow company do the closing for them. So that would be an additional closing fee. Now, Northwest Bank, typically our closing costs on either a purchase or a refinance will depend on a couple different factors. It will depend on the type of loan that you get. It will depend on the type of property it is. For example, if it's a condo or if it's a second home, there might be additional recording fees and that kind of thing. But I think a good range for closing costs would be anywhere from $1,600 to $2,000. Now, on top of that, sometimes you can buy down your interest rate. And I know we're getting kind of off topic here, but if you decide to pay origination points, so that would be maybe 1% of the loan amount, can usually buy down your interest rate 1/4% for example. So if you choose to buy down your interest rate, then that would be an additional closing cost. So that is something that a buyer, usually we provide options for buyers. You know, if you want to get, like, interest rates are really good right now, so if you want to get a 3.5% interest rate, there would be no points, but if you want to get lower than that, there might be some points.
Perfect.
A couple other things that we would need to collect if someone wants to escrow for taxes and insurance. So if they want to include the property taxes and homeowners insurance in their monthly payment, we call that an escrow account, and we would need to collect some funds to start that escrow account. So those aren't typically, we don't really consider them closing costs because they're not hard costs in doing the loan,
Right.
and sometimes that is a choice whether they want to escrow or not. But if they do, then we need to collect some funds for that escrow, and the amount will depend on the amount of the property taxes, the amount of the homeowner's insurance, and when we close.
Sure.
So there's a lot of variables in that, but basically getting back to, hard closing costs, usually, around the $1,600 to $2,000 range.
Oh, perfect. And Angie brought up a couple other points and issues, and we'll have ongoing videos to continue this whole series on financing and real estate. So thank you very much, Angie. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.